the real problem is Alex Jones is too good to bring people into the Lions den. The real lesson from J6 is there is nothing there for you. There is no protest indeed. There's nothing good that's going to come out of it. All you're going to do is get capped. And rest in peace of sad Ashley Babbitt. Shot officer didn't even know if it was a man or a woman. Completely a bad shooting. But the lesson is you don't go into the lion's den like that because there's nothing good. All they will do is set you up. DC is the worst possible place to plan a populist right protest. That's just not a good idea. After they had already stolen the election, they'd do anything just to cover it up, to stop it. I don't know if everybody still learned that lesson. Are y'all with me or not? Do you support the populist right going to protest anything in Washington, D.C.? I'd be curious to see if anybody disagrees with me on that. I'm not saying you don't have the right to. I'm just saying it's stupid. There's a lot of things you have the right to do that are stupid. I was gonna say like diving into a Bass Pro Shop aquarium, but you don't have the right to do that actually. I hope we all learned the lesson. That was a mistake. And I hate to see people, well, Ashley Babbitt die, but don't let her death go without purpose. That doesn't mean to not fight, figuratively, but it does mean that you've got to be more sophisticated in your method of fighting this informational battle. You got to be much better. Do better. That was not a good one. I'm with the J6ers in general for their grievance. I admire their courage without question. I didn't have the courage to do that. I didn't make the effort, the time. They had businesses, families. They went out there for the right reasons. But you got set up, and just because your intentions were good and you had courage doesn't mean your chess move was the right chess move. So reevaluate that. No, I didn't say there's anything wrong with protests. That doesn't mean the protest you have the right to protest. I didn't say there was anything wrong with protesting. But you've got to be sophisticated. I hope we're not debating you should never go to D.C. for a populist right protest. Are we still debating that? Man, didn't learn anything. If you want to protest, Georgia's supposed to be a red state, has a trifecta. State House, State Senate, Governor, Secretary of State. Go protest them there. Even that is dangerous, though. But that makes more sense. D.C., why are you going to D.C.? You got problems at home. Don't go to D.C. You can protest. Pick your spots. I think in Georgia, they would want to jail you and hem you up the same way. But the problem is, if they were to jail or hem you up, it would expose them even more. And that puts them in danger of losing power from the people. Georgia is in looking at it, kind of studying it. Now, it's a weird corporate, it's a old school Southern, but good old corporate boy type state where there's people who support Brian Kemp and think Brian Kemp does well and good. Brian Kemp is going after Trump via proxy with Fannie Ass Williams. Why are you in D.C.? Now, that wasn't at the time, but the stolen election happened at the state level. Why are you in D.C.? For what? If you're supposed to have you can't go to D.C. unless you have a solid grouping of red states. And even then, that's aggression. The take should be, we don't want anybody in D.C. We're leaving D.C. The part where you should be not aggressive, but you would kick the feds out of your state. That's the type of stuff you should be protesting. That you should make sure your state, county is red. Then make the moves to say, we're pulling all of our representatives out of DC. You're not taking any taxes from us anymore. And oh, by the way, every single federal office, well, you would really need to negotiate this stuff, but just understand for the purpose of this conversation, get every single federal person out of this state by midnight. It's ours now. I'm not trying to take over any territory. I'm not trying to go to DC. We have the God-given right to say, just as this country was founded, we're out. That makes more sense. There's nothing in DC for you. I'm not saying protesting is bad. I'm saying use your noggin. What are you in DC for? That's like me covering myself in pig's blood and walking into a lion's den. You have the right to do it. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say. We haven't learned that. I wasn't even thinking about talking about it. We're in for some rough waves ahead. Nobody's had a competent breakdown of J6. I think that's what's going on. I haven't heard anybody say that take. There needs to be a comprehensive breakdown from a strategic standpoint looking forward about the lessons learned from J6. There ain't nothing there for you other than corrupt people who would love to see you so they can hem you up because they control the whole area. There is nothing there for you to accomplish in DC. Nothing. Ever. It's done. You go to DC and protest, that's on you at this point. That's really stupid. There's nothing there for you other than for you to get your ass kicked, to get arrested, hemmed up with a biased jury, political corruption, and your own governor in your own state doesn't even care about you. Why are you in DC? Most of the J6ers were from Florida. Ron DeSantis laughing at you. Why are you in DC? Clean your state up. I'm upset if we haven't learned that lesson. I'm upset. See, people, I think there's a lot of people who are just so into the status quo, and they feel like they've got to go with the status quo. And I don't mean that from the corporate Democrat side. I mean that from the populist right side. Meaning the status quo from the populist right is Trump, Trump, Trump. And I'm not against you for that, but that's not the answer. If you want to vote Trump, go vote Trump. But I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying that that's not the answer. That's why I said Trump should be, and I wasn't joking. I was like, Trump should be the mayor of a local town. That would be better. You got rallies of thousands of people, but no concentrated power. You went to DC in the lion's den and you had nobody who had your back. Not one governor of any state said, if you don't release the people you got politically hemmed up in DC right now, we're leaving the union at midnight. You didn't have one state that even thought about saying that. You can't go there without backup. I'm shocked if we haven't learned that. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. We gotta be smarter, man. We gotta be, and I just use we loosely, but we gotta be sophisticated in our approach. What's the plan? If you tell me voting Trump is your plan, man, you're gonna have your cheeks spread. That's what's gonna happen. You're going to have an involuntary cheek spreading by the U.S. government, all of us. Moving along. And I'm not saying that to be, hopefully nobody's taking, I'm saying that out of love. That's why I'm mad. It's like the people that you respect, the populist right movement is the greatest political movement in the history of our country. And I hope that it evolves into a sophisticated, smart movement. So I'm just mad in general if we don't agree on that. It's like, oh, I want to protest. I want to protest. Fine. What's the plan?